Since 2002, the Kyoto Prize Symposium has generated more than $5 million in college scholarships, fellowships, and other educational opportunities in the San Diego Baja region. Please welcome these outstanding students as they join me on the stage. Viene.
Hi.
I understand that you have been interested in science since you were very young. Tell me about this passion for science.
Well, I'm a very curious person. Even as a child, I want to know in every topic. But for that now, you need to ask why. Well, but why I'm interested in sciences? I feel the biology, chemistry, and physics are three sisters who helps you to understand the life.
But specifically, you're interested in nanotechnology. Why is that?
It's the sciences who investigates the things on nanoscales. When the physics and chemistry had a creative mode, and the rules has a beautiful change. It's for that, it's the feeling to see, to invest in invisible, and touch the untouchable, it defines it in me. One of my goals is to use this research to make things to solve real problems in the people in his life and healed.
And I understand you won second place in a project at the environmental fair. Can you tell us about that project?
Well, my friend Camila and I explored farms to get water from the air. That's because in the world are so close to die zero. The die zero is when the water head ends forever. It's for that I researched how to take water from the air using methods sustainable and using hydrogels and microbial filters, using tanks to the people who can use this water obtained by the air.
And you also have an interest in public speaking.
Yes.
What's that about?
Well, I am a very nervous person, really. For then...
You're doing fine.
Thanks.
You're doing fine.
A few years ago, if you stand me here, is the first word, these things words for me. And for that, the oratory gives ability to speak from others.
You're doing very well. What about your plans for the future? What's ahead for you?
I plan to study in the Technological Institute of Tijuana in the nanotechnology engineer, and then I want to continue my studies as investigator in nanomedicine and environment.
Viene, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you too.
Darshan, tell me about your passion for mechanical engineering. How did that develop?
Well, when I was a kid, I was really into unscrambling things, building things, and I was just curious about how all the things worked. I also have the background as my parents. My father is an engineer, and my mom was a mathematician, teacher in the university. And when I was really young, I really wanted to study engineering because whenever my mom told to do the chores, I really wanted to have a robot to do the things for me. Or else, I also got into automotive engineering because I'm a really fanatic about Formula One. And also I have been to the San Diego Miramar Air Show where I was really interested in aeronautical engineering. But when I was investigating more, I wanted to choose a core curriculum, which was mechanical engineering, which was going to be a part about the structure. So I wanted to study much more about it.
I understand you're also interested in helping younger people in your community. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I really love to work with children. I am working in a project called SAF, Síguele la Vida, which we have been doing a lot of activities in orphanages where we go to the orphanage and we provide the help that they need and to have a time spending for them. And also, every Friday in FANE, we have a workshop of arts where the students can be liberated from the stress that they will have from medical things.
Well, you developed a program that helped fellow students get further education outside of school as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was first introduced to a clinic called HedgeFit en Comedor Salesiano in Tijuana, which is a student-run clinic by UCSD students and UABC students. I created a project there which is called Voces que Traducen, Corazones que Ayudan, which was principally taking 5 students from preparatoria, which is high school in Mexico, and so that they can be having like that kind of experience in a clinic so that they will be interested more in medicine. First, when I was introduced, I wasn't getting a lot of benefit from it, but I thought like other students that were really interested in medicine can get this kind of experience, which was very limited in Tijuana.
And you plan to study mechanical engineering, I assume at MIT is where you're hoping.
Yeah, my dream is to study one day in MIT. I would really love to contribute to the investigation right there, but also I have applied to Tecnológico de Monterrey, which I got accepted. Right now, I'm waiting for the scholarship.
And yeah, you're off to a good start. What about your future plans? What's ahead for you?
Well, I would really love to study until my PhD. And also one thing that I don't want to leave apart is helping younger children. I really want to donate a part of my scholarship to the orphanages so that the students who are really limited in resources, they can get a better education. Because I think that students who get into school, the teachers will recognize the talent and they will get a better life instead of selling things in the streets.
It sounds to me like you're off to a good start. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Emily, I understand that you, like Vianney, are very curious. You've always been curious. Tell us about that curiosity.
Well, yes, I am. I was one of the kids who always raises her hand in class, and even when we're not doing homework, I still had questions to the teacher because I find treasure in every single detail of the world. And I always keep questioning why. Why does this happen? And how can I find a solution to this thing? And yeah, and I also learned recently that talking to people is one of the best ways to educate ourselves.
What started your interest in aerospace engineering?
Well, I'm a huge fan of physics and space. It's one of my favorite branches of science. And I think it's the perfect combination for me, aerospace engineering, because it combines that two things, physics and space. And also, I heard that it's a difficult career, and I love a challenge, so it's a perfect for me.
What principles did you learn from Dr. Amari?
I learned a lot for Dr. Amari. Thank you so much. Well, one of my favorites is that we must enjoy the process because in science we often get pressure to get results, to present projects, but that's not the main point of science. The main point is to investigate and learn and enjoy life while discovering new things. So thank you so much for reminding me once more time how important is the process of science.
So tell us about the group that you work with that designs rockets.
I'm part of a university student group called Quantum for experimental rocket ship, where we manufacture, develop, simulate, and then launch rockets, which fly about 1,200 meters. And, well, when we launch them, that's the fun part. Once it went sideways, directly to us, and then it went above. And it was really scary, but fun.
We've all had projects that have gone sideways, so congratulations. You learned quickly. Where do you plan to study, and what's the future for you?
My plan is to study aerospace engineering at UCSD. I'm still waiting for my results and hoping to get a scholarship. But my long-term goal is to represent Mexican women in this new era of space exploration at major centers like NASA or Blue Origin, where we don't have a lot of feminine representation. And also, I don't know if you heard about the Artemis 2 mission to go to Mars. There's also some plans to, I'm sorry, to go to the moon. There's also some plans to go to Mars, and I want to be part of that new era, new historic era of the human race in space exploration.
Very ambitious. We wish you great success.
Thank you.
Zara, tell us about your passion for math and how it leads to biomedical engineering for you.
So my passion for math started when I was very young because my mom was a civil engineer and is now a physics teacher. So she always emphasized how important math is, but the first time that I kind of was able to understand that for myself was when I took calculus, because every topic or concept you see in calculus has a real-world application, and that leads me to biomedical engineering because it feels like the perfect combination of those calculus concepts and healthcare to create real-world solutions.
So what about this favorite club that you were a part of in high school? Tell us about that.
So my favorite club that I'm a part of in high school is a club that I founded at my school district called STEM to All. So we bring monthly science experiments to elementary students with, or elementary schools with primarily underrepresented students. So we bring them experiments like circuits, making your own plastic out of algae, or strawberry DNA extraction. So it's just so amazing to see how excited the students are by science.
Tell us also about this Scripps Research Translational Institute Summer Institute. That's a mouthful, but you got to tell us what that is.
Yeah, so over the summer, I interned under Dr. Marisa Roberto, and her lab primarily focuses on drug abuse and alcoholism. So my project was evaluating samples from female rats and correlating that to drinking levels as well as behavior to see how the hormonal, or what effect hormones can have on their behavior and physiology. So it was a very fascinating summer, and I get to continue my internship working on a new project that has to do with semaglutide and a new cohort of rats.
And where do you hope to attend university?
My top 3 choices right now are MIT, UC Berkeley, and Columbia University, but I'm still waiting to hear back.
Yeah, hold out for a school that somebody's heard of. So hang on to that thought. And how are you going to, what's your plan? How are you going to change the world?
So I hope to use biomedical engineering as a physician to support underrepresented communities and create systems that are accessible, portable, and affordable. So yeah, thank you.
We wish you the best.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So David, as a child, you were interested in learning about medical mysteries. So how did that transition into your interest in synthetic biology? I'm not seeing the connection.
So when I was really young, I had a book about just diseases. I was really interested in diseases, the rarer the better. That got me interested in human anatomy, tissues, and then cellular anatomy. Then that transitioned into enzymatic pathways and gene transcription. And finally, after that in high school, I started moving into synthetic biology and synthetic biology projects. So it's a winded journey. But
Yeah, no kidding. And tell us about the work with the J. Craig Ventnor Institute at UCSD Amaro Lab. Tell us about that.
So at the J. Craig Ventnor Institute, I've been working for a couple of years on these projects, but I've been working on basically engineering a bacterium to break down plastics in the ocean waters. It sounds really cool. It is really cool. Unfortunately, my bacterium was less cool. I found many failures. And then at the UCSD Amaro Lab, I continued that research. Since I didn't have a lot of resources at JCVI, I decided to do a lot of work computationally. So I was modeling these enzymes and seeing if they were stable in ocean waters. I also built a bioreactor because it's typically a bad idea to just throw bacteria like that you engineered into the ocean. So let's put a bioreactor to contain it, and that's what I was doing at the Amaro Lab.
And what I think, I didn't understand any of that, but
Sorry.
I just have to be honest with you, but I'm gonna trust you. Tell us about the Westview Science Olympiad and your participation in it.
Yeah, so Science Olympiad is an organization / club that I've been interested since middle school. So I started with anatomy, then I moved on to like disease detectives, microbiology, and now I'm working on designer genes. I'm currently vice president of operations at my school, and what I love about it is I get to coach around 30 students in microbiology, and I get to spread my knowledge and my passion to other children, and hope they get it passed on as well.
And I heard you were able to go overseas for a summit. What was that about?
Oh yeah, so the former CEO of like Google, Eric Schmidt, he decided to found like a fellowship where you could travel to Oxford University. Around 100 of them, you could go to Oxford University for a leadership summit. I was one of those chosen. I remember one of my the summit really impacted me because I got to meet like a Kenyan peer who had very similar interests to me, also molecular biology, enzymatic design, and so on. But he had a lot of resources to me, so he was conveying his struggles to me, and it really put a whole different perspective on research, and it changed my perspective on how to continue research as well.
Sure. So where do you plan to study from here?
I've been extremely fortunate to be accepted to Stanford University, so I'm like 80 to 90% sure about that, but I'm still waiting on UCSD. Of
course you are.
Yeah. And MIT as well.
Yeah, all right. And future plans, how are you going to change the world?
So I've really been inspired by my mentors and principal investigators, so I'm really thinking of becoming a principal investigator and being able to ideate and pursue my own projects in my own freedom. I'm really interested in pursuing especially like the building blocks of life, the origins of life, like Asim Surani, a development of life, and also synthetic biology to engineer biological tools for a better future.
Congratulations, David. Keep up the good work. All right, Kathy, I understand that Dr. Gilligan had an impact on you and on your life. Explain.
Okay. First of all, thank you all for coming. Second of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Gilligan for the impact she's made on my life. First of all, I think since I was small, I've loved talking, but when I joined debate in high school, I was kind of struggling to express my opinion, whether that be because maybe I wasn't being so rational or I got emotional when I was arguing. So I felt like maybe emotional arguments weren't always the most correct. But I think Dr. Gilligan inspired me to use my voice and to have the confidence to stand here before all of you. Because she reassured me that my opinions aren't wrong because I care about relationships or my obligations.
So how has this manifested in recent endeavors?
So I'm currently the president of the Youth Health Coalition at my school, where I fundraise for young women like me in the South Kivu region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Specifically, we make menstrual kits for them. I also, as part of this initiative, have made curricula regarding topics such as human trafficking, early marriage, and menstrual health, which is extremely relevant to the girls right there. And I hope to empower them through both education and resources.
You've also been very involved with clubs and extracurricular activities over the years, but one stands out in particular that you intend to pursue. Tell us about your experience as a research assistant at San Diego State University.
I've been very honored to be able to work with Dr. Kimberly Crass at SDSU School of Public Affairs, where I am a part of the resentencing project. As a part of that project, I'm currently doing core observations and looking at recidivism when it comes to juveniles in sentencing. So that means looking at parole rates. That means looking at the background behind who is committing what crime. And being a part of this nuanced research project allowed me to realize the discrepancies between the criminal justice system and the case-by-case basis that everything occurs on. There is no one right or just answer to every sentence. That's why we have resentencing.
So with all of these interests, what do you intend to pursue at the university level? What's ahead for you?
So I currently am going to pursue politics, especially policy and law. My top university that I hope to get into is the University of Pennsylvania, and my alternatives are the University of Southern California and UVA. So I'm very excited, and hopefully I get scholarships too.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that, and we wish you the best in your endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the future, and you're supporting it. So, way to go. Thank you.